I'm looking at an article from the Toronto Star recently entitled "Foreign Buyers Behind Only 5% of Toronto Home Purchases in 2016. Actually, it's a little bit misleading because the home purchases were not just in Toronto, they were in the Greater Toronto Area. Alright? And out of over 133 transactions last year in the Greater Toronto Area, which includes all the suburbs, Mississauga, Brampton, Vaughan, Oshawa, and so on, less than 5% actually involved buyers from outside Canada. So, stop blaming foreign investors for the high price of housing in the GTA. That's not the reason. The real reason is because demand, the number of buyers, is far greater than the supply of housing units on the market. And that gap is going to continue to be stretched in 2017. And that's why we see the proliferation of real estate prices to unprecedented levels in the Greater Toronto Area. How many of the homes purchased by non-Canadians were actually bought for their own personal use or family use? Approximately 75%. That's not speculative. That's real demand. And after all, everyone has to live somewhere. Why not their principal residence? Now, if a foreign buyer tax, such as the foolish one that Vancouver implemented, the 15% foreign buyer tax last August of 2016, that would be extremely misguided according to the Toronto Real Estate Board. They feel that a similar tax here could have unintended consequences, potentially pushing up prices in the outlying communities outside of the Toronto area where there is no such tax. I concur. I absolutely could happen. It could also further reduce the tight supply of rentals and discourage immigration to the area. Well, of course, if you're going to discriminate and give somebody a 15% tax, we've already seen it in Vancouver. We saw what happened there. The sales plummeted. Okay? And we see all sorts of ongoing pending lawsuits happening against the government. Now the government's backtracking out there and trying to make peace with the huge mistake they made. Taxes and greed seem to have an insatiable appetite. So let's keep a lid on that. Now the cost of homes in the Greater Toronto Area are expected to rise substantially, between 10 to 16% this year. And by the way, that won't surprise me at all, based on the year we had last year and based on the phenomenal start we had this year. So that means on average the price of a home in December would grow to $825,000 from $730,472 last December. And where will the greatest growth occur? In detached, semi-detached, and townhouses. Condominiums will rise as well, just not as much as the other type. This really amazed me. According to the Ipsos survey of home buyers, they found that the average buyer expects to put down 27.6% on a home this year. First-time buyers are expected to put down about 24% on their purchase. That is shocking. Why? Because most first-time buyers previously used to put down the minimum amount, like 5%. After mortgage rules changed, now they have to put 20%. So what happened? Did their incomes all of a sudden quadruple? No, or more? No, they didn't. You see, what happened is the first-time buyers end up getting creative. So they're using various sources from down payments, including savings and RSPs. Well, they had savings and RSPs before. However, here's the real meal ticket. Gifts from family, that's where it's coming from. And for repeat buyers, they are utilizing and extracting more of their equity from their current homes. And that equity is rising. So that makes sense. The number of first-timers expected to enter the market this year, it's up to 53% from 49%. Typically it's between 40 to 50%. The 53% is really surprising given that the prices have escalated dramatically. So obviously the bank of mom and dad is carrying the weight right now and supporting their kids. So hallelujah to you. Now, the TREP predicts that it will be a third consecutive year that more than 100,000 sales will occur this year. However, they anticipate, because of the really small restricted supply, the number of sales will not exceed 113,000. And active listings at the end of December were at their lowest point since before the year 2000. So again, we're talking about unprecedentedly low levels of inventory. And an interesting side note, Toronto Real Estate Board believe that home values will rise as much as 12% depending on their proximity to the GO Transit's regional express rail improvements that are expected to provide 15-minute two-way service in many areas. So keep that in mind. And if you're located within those corridors, then you should see an above average spike in your property values. That's an infrastructure change, an improvement. And that's not uncommon. So typically if you're within 800 meters to a subway station, those property values will also rise disproportionately. Why? You don't need that second vehicle. You don't even need a vehicle when you can effectively take public transit. And a subway is seen as an effective way of being transported around the city. All right. Till next time. Make your decisions wisely. Thank you.